Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, An Insight. Episode 85. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, by the grace of Sai, we are about to close the narrations of chapter 18 of Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. In the previous episode, we heard that Shyama went to Dwarakamai to talk to Baba about Radhabai Deshmukh's fasting and determination to receive a mantra from the lips of Baba, whereas Baba took the lead and talked in parables. Shyama was very dejected, thinking about the condition of the old lady. He now began the conversation thus: "O Deva, what is this confusion all about? We are simple people who can't contemplate your divine sport. You draw people to this village and sow the seed of desire in their mind. Make them so determined that none could change their decision. And now you are asking me what is going on in Shiradi? That Lady Deshmukh is aged, and without having food and water, she has grown very weak. She has great faith upon you and had totally surrendered to you. She is strong-willed and waiting to get instructions from you. Deva, why don't you please bless that old lady? As such, she is very thin, and now, without consuming food or water, she has become even more miserable. Obviously, she will lose her life if she will continue like this." Then people would say that an old woman came with utmost faith and devotion to have Baba's darshan and wished to have Upadesh. But Baba never bothered to grant her wish, nor took pity on her and let her die without fulfilling her desire. So Deva, please, before something bad would happen, kindly shower your grace upon her, guide her through your own lips, and make her to end this fasting. Hemat Panji closes chapter 18 here, and how Baba changed the mind of the old lady Radhabai Deshmukh is continued in chapter 19, which we shall listen now. As always, Hemat Panji has not commenced this chapter by elucidating the method adopted by Baba or the pronouncements made by Baba to Radhabai Deshmukh. Instead, he states the philosophical significance connected to the narration of this chapter, sings the glory of the Guru to his heart's content, and then proceeds to explain how Baba convinced the old lady. Let's listen to the narration of Hemat Panji with keen interest and devotion. He says, those who worship the sun god light a lamp with the help of a thin cotton wick. Similarly, the worshippers of Lord Ganesha make a small image of Ganapati with the mound of jaggery and then offer a small piece of the same jaggery as prasad. Likewise, people take a palm full of water from the great ocean and offer the same water as an oblation to it. These practices might look very odd for the onlookers. The sun and the ocean are incomparable, and no offering can be in par with their supremacy. The sun is the provider of light to the entire universe, so When the devotees offer the light that emits from a thin wick to sun, it might sound very insignificant, but this offering is accepted by the sun god. Likewise, though we take the palmful of water from the huge ocean and offer the same water to it, the Samudra Raja accepts that offering. As well, the jaggery that was used for making Ganesha Pratima was reoffered to the Lord. The Lord accepts it and bestows His grace upon His devotees. Hence, none should judge the activities of the devotees but be concerned about their expression of devotion, emotions, and sentiments. None of these methods can be contemplated as right or wrong. The significance or the core of this chapter is that the Guru is the sole actor or doer. Blessed is he who knows the greatness of his Guru and thinks him to be Hari, Hara, and Brahma. Devotees, in this connection, I would like to share the description of Srila Prabhupada on Prema Bhakti that attracts Sri Krishna. Prema Bhakti is so powerful that it attracts and controls even the all-attractive Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. One is controlled by attachments. One becomes attached to that which gives him pleasure. Only self-satisfied people can remain detached and thus independent. The Lord is self-satisfied. He is Atma Rama, but he is attracted to his own pleasure potency and thus becomes attached to and controlled by Prema Bhakti. Therefore, one who has Prema can attract and control Krishna. No other process of self-realization has this potency. Narada Muni's statement to Yudhishthira describing Lord Krishna as the friend and messenger of the Pandavas illustrates how the Lord becomes subservient to the love of his pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada adds, so that was the position of the Pandavas. Although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greatest among all greats, he remained with those royal brothers, being attracted by their devotion, by their friendship, and by their love. This is the proof of how great this process of devotional service is. It can attract even the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We shall now heed to the story of Akrura and how he realized the Supreme. Akrura, the uncle of Lord Krishna, was one of the courtiers of Kamsa who was sent as a messenger to invite Krishna to Mathura to be killed. Akrura considered this as the greatest of opportunities to meet Lord Krishna and was immersed in so much longing and devotion to meet him in Vrindavan. As soon as he reached Vrindavan, when he saw the Lord's footprints, he immediately jumped down from his chariot and saluted the sacred soil. His heart was filled with deep satisfaction even to see the footprints and prayed sincerely to the Lord, free from all kinds of fear and grief that was instigated by Kamsa. Thus, he attained the Lord through his loving devotion. Let us get back to the original thread where Hemat Panji continues his narration, illuminating the nature of Atman and the cause of rebirth. Devotees, please keep in mind Hemat Panji's introduction or the philosophies stated at the opening of the chapter has connections to the chapter and they are not an outcome of his random thoughts. The Atman and the body are different in nature, but they are closely associated to the extent that one cannot be happy without the other and are inseparable even for a moment. They don't fit into the general rule. They are not the same feathers that can flock together, as body is transient and Atman is unchangeable and indestructible. But both are interlocked. The love between the two is immeasurable and binds both together, that they are united always. Thus, the cycle of birth and death takes place. Atman is the greatest power. It is more minute than that which is invisible. All the senses dissolve in it. This is the highest state, and that itself is the pure Brahman. Such is the Atman, which appears to belong to the material world and must follow the path of illusion and karma, though it is unchangeable and without a blemish like a crystal. Hemat Panji has used a beautiful analogy to support this fact. He illustrates it with the help of a crystal, which can turn red, black, yellow as it reflects the colors, but it is different from the colors. It is pure and separate and cannot change. Similarly, the Atman is unique. It is separate from the body, the sense organs, the mind, and prana. It is self illumined, pure consciousness, not subject to change and without form. Hence, to think my body is my real self and take pride in it is also wrong, because it binds the otherwise free Atman. We all misconceive that the body and Atman are same, which is untrue. They are two different entities, though appears as one. They remain different, just like the crystal and colors. There are two attributes. One is Dehi Bhavam and another is Deha Bhavam. Deham is the gross body and Dehi is the possessor of the body or the soul. As per Dehi Bhavam, I am not this body. The soul resides in this body. This is the first step of spiritual knowledge, when most of us don't even have that preliminary knowledge and keeps thinking that I am the body, which is Deha Bhavam. Hence, we should never have the pride of body, intelligence, mind, and prana. One must face the consequences, enjoy and perform the duties, experience the happiness and sorrows also, which are unavoidable. Baba always gave due importance to Bhakti Marg, that is the path of devotion, though there are other paths such as karma and jnana. Baba always encouraged the spiritual practice focused on loving devotion towards God. Baba himself, being a great saint of Bhakti Marg, highlights the significance of this path to his devotees, as this is the simplest and the best way to attain the Supreme. Although knowledge or Jnana Marga is the best of all, which Baba preached day and night, even then, for the ordinary people, he advocated the path of devotion, and the aim is to see and serve everyone as a manifestation of the divine. Baba talked of the greatness of the path of knowledge, which was like the Ram Phal, bullock's heart fruit, and the path of devotion was like eating the Sita Phal, custard apple, which is simple and sweet. Devotion is like a pure Sitaphal and knowledge is like a ripened Ramphal, one juicier than the other, both with exquisite fragrance. When one has the patience to wait for Ramphal to ripen on the tree, then he finds that it tastes very sweet. But if the pulp of the ramphal is tasted when the unripened fruit is plucked from the tree and then made to ripe, the pulp tastes sharp. The taste of ramphal is sweeter when it starts ripening on the stem of the tree. If it falls on the ground, it tastes sharp. One can enjoy the sweet fruit only when it ripes on the tree itself. Whoever knows to ripen it on the tree, he alone can enjoy the sweet taste of it. But a sitafal does not require such efforts. Still, it has good qualities and is also precious. Ramphal has the fear of falling, and even for a person who is in pursuit of knowledge, there is always the fear of falling from grace. He must conquer the 8 siddhis and should not neglect this even for a little while. Therefore, Sri Sadguru Sainath Maharaj often explained to his disciples about the importance of devotion and namajapa, that is, chanting the God's names. Many enlightened souls have advocated the path of devotion or bhakti marg to people. According to Ramakrishna Paramahansa, in Kali Yuga, the path of devotion is best suited to mankind. He himself was a great devotee of Ma Kali. He was totally engrossed in his devotion to Goddess Kali. Once he wanted to have darshan of Ma Kali and decided that he will cut his head if Kali Ma does not give him darshan by the end of the day. Many people came to watch this and was wondering what this mad priest will do. It often happens that during the sojourn of the divine incarnations on this earth, we don't realize their greatness. That day, as usual, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa sang and danced madly in devotion to Ma Kali. By evening, when he still not got darshan of Goddess Kali, he became restless and picked up the sword to cut his head. Suddenly, the Blessed Mother revealed herself to him. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa affirms that one can see God through bhakti alone. Devotion to God may be said to be green so long as it doesn't grow into love of God, but it becomes ripe when it has grown into such love. A man with green bhakti cannot assimilate spiritual talk and instruction, but one with ripe bhakti can. Paramahansa has given a captivating illustration to expound upon this. Let us heed to it now. The image that falls on a photographic plate covered with black film, that is silver nitrate, is retained. On the other hand, thousands of images may be reflected on a bare piece of glass, but not one of them is retained. As the object moves away, the glass becomes the same as it was before. One cannot assimilate spiritual instruction unless one has already developed love of God. To conclude, one can see God through bhakti alone, but the bhakti must be ripe and must be filled with love. When one develops love of God, one completely gets rid of one's attachment to the world and worldly wisdom. One cannot see God if one has even the slightest trace of worldliness. Matchsticks, if damp, won't strike fire, though you rub 1,000 of them against the matchbox. You only waste a heap of sticks. The mind soaked in worldliness is such a damp matchstick. After elucidating the greatness of Prema Bhakti, Hemat Panji continues to narrate the discussions that took place between Sainath Maharaj and Shyama regarding Radhabai Deshmukh, and we shall heed to those in the coming episodes. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.